Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and you're watching or listening to WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 80. Today, we are going to be discussing The Empire Strikes Back, celebrating 1980. Joining me in the discussion today is Miss Heather Allred.
I get to actually wave and people might see me this time. Hey, everybody.
Coming to you live through the power of YouTube. And Todd Hoffman.
Hello, how are you?
You're looking festive, shall I say?
Yes, yeah. I'm in the basement. I have Yoda.
You were live streaming the International Museum of Todd. Oh, that is awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. If you're listening to us on the podcast, we have some exciting news. We are now live streaming all of our recording sessions every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Just check our social media for the links. We'll always blast it out before we go live, and you can watch alongside with us. But for now, let's just get right into it with the news of the week.
And now, the Star Wars News of the Week.
All right, so first up, Reddit user Kylo733, so I think he likes The Last Jedi, I'm not sure, was mentioning that he found a trend in Marvel Phase 3 movies that a lot of people were getting electrocuted in blue lightning, very similar to Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker.
Really?
Yes, he's noticing this trend because in Phase 2 of all the Marvel movies, a lot of people got limbs cut off, aka Empire Strikes Back, with Luke getting his limb cut off. So he was also noticing that Marvel was kind of throwing a lot of people getting electrocuted. So I thought that was very interesting. Little hidden nod to, I guess, all the Star Wars films there. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Interesting indeed. What's more interesting is that this article doesn't link to the actual post of this guy. So sorry, Kylo733.
Yeah, no.
We recognize your hard-earned contributions to this discussion, but apparently comicbook.com doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So thank you.
Yeah. So next up, this fall, Aquaman is coming out. And Aquaman's kind of underwater.
Coming out of the briny deep.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
And when there was this first kind of announced, it was like, oh, this is going to be like Star Wars underwater. And there's some of the pictures are coming out right now for Aquaman. And it kind of does look like Gungan City underwater, man. It's like there's a lot of couple references. And so this quote of like being Star Wars underwater, it might kind of prove true. So I thought that was kind of interesting, like some of the photos coming out. And this is directed by our Fast and Furious 7 director, James Wan. So he kind of hopes it's going to be like a game changer, but he might be doing a little homage to another underwater movie that happened to be The Phantom Menace, with Jar Jar and the Gungans. I thought that was very interesting as well. And then finally, big news. The U.S. Justice Department said, hey, Disney, it's okay. It doesn't antitrust for you to try to pursue Fox. So obviously the Fox deal has not gone down yet. But if it happened, it will be 40% of the box office that Disney would own. What do you think about that?
Just way too much money, people. That's just way too much money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of the free market as much as the next guy, but with 40% of the share, I don't know how free a market that is.
It's kind of crazy. This proposed deal will be worth more than $71 billion. That's billion. So again, just if you're not caught up, Disney owns Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. And if it owned Fox, it would really kind of dominate. So, yeah. And they're just saying, also, like Fox has the Fox Searchlight studio, which has won 3 of the last 5 Academy Awards for Best Picture.
Is that their like independent label that they run things through?
Yes. Okay. So again, they acquired Pixar for $7.4 billion, $4 billion for Lucasfilm, and then another $4 billion for Marvel, and that's all in the past 12 years. But this could be the breaker, man. This is huge. So we'll see. We'll see if it finally transpires.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, they got X-Men, they got Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
They got Ice Age.
Avatar. There's quite a few franchises there. So we'll see. I don't know. It's pretty interesting if that would happen. But
I will say is if it does go through and Disney gets a hold of X-Men, and they build Xavier's school, I'm there.
You're there.
You are.
Yeah.
What would your mutant power be?
Oh, man. I have no idea.
Or power, I should say. It's more
right?
curse, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
I mean,
what would yours be, Aaron?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man. Probably the standard go invisible thing. That'd be pretty cool.
Classic.
Get you out of some sticky situations.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know. I'm not a huge X-Men fan, so I've not put that much thought into it. But that's probably my go-to first answer. Is that the best answer? Probably not.
No, but it's close.
Tells you something.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to Katina Chat. All right, Heather, anything geeky or anything going on with you this last week?
Funny you should ask.
I'm asking right now. Yeah.
What?
The segment's in the podcast, so.
So, for those who don't know, I am a runnie, i.e. I visit Renaissance fairs on a pretty regular basis. So Bristol Renaissance Fair opened last week, and sadly I had to miss opening weekend for reasons, but I went out. What is today? Monday, maybe, for those who are listening to the recording. So yesterday I went out for the first time, which was buku amounts of fun. Got all dressed up.
Buku. Fancy schmancy.
I know. So I got all dressed up and went out. And
where is that at again? Is that Wisconsin?
It's in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kenosha, to be excited. It's literally right across the border. It's about
past Mars Cheese Castle.
No, but it's right past Great America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a Wisconsin town, if it's even divide between vowels and consonants in the name.
Yeah. There you go. So, but some of the best parts about it, tied into Star Wars, is while it's specifically a run fair and it's celebrating Queen Elizabeth coming to a small town, and she's, with her people and being adored and whatever.
Right.
It's basically just a giant geek culture melting pot. And there's this one shop, and she does chainmail things. And she makes these little chainmail dragons. And one of them was like this little Darth Vader chainmail thing. And so I took some pictures. So I'll be sure to get those over to Mr. Ted Huffman, our social media contact.
Right.
To show you guys. But yeah, so just super fun to see geeky things in all kinds of new ways.
Yeah. The 501st is going to invade that soon. I'm not sure.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Tell me when.
I will. It's coming up. Yeah, it's like informal. I don't know. It's ever Space Day. I don't know. There's some kind of time travel day.
Oh, the Steampunk Time Traveler Weekend?
Yeah, that's when
Winning.
the 501st will invade.
Such a thing exists?
Yes.
Yes.
Basically, the guys wear kilts for their TKs and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I have a
that's
picture
awesome.
with a stormtrooper in a kilt. So
Yeah.
from last year.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a full like European night version of the Stormtrooper.
That would be awesome, actually.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Why don't
Probably
you
not 501st approved, but
Well, why don't you get on that and then you can cosplay at Ren Fair and at any Comic-Con, you know?
let me just check my wallet here. And I'm like, oh yeah, nothing in there.
It's
Bummer.
empty. It's empty.
Oh, man.
Imagination. Imagination. Aaron, did you do anything fun or geeky this last week?
I forgot what fun was a long time ago.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
You're sounding like an adult.
I know. I'm just working, but
Yeah.
well, I do pest control. I go into a lot of people's houses, and sometimes I spot a few Star Wars merch items here and there. And whenever I do, I be sure to discreetly leave behind our podcast business card. So,
Oh, that's good, dude.
we may have gotten a few new listeners from that. I don't know.
That's good.
Smart.
That's
So
smart.
if you're out there and you remember some weird bald dude treating your house, hi, thanks for listening.
I'm just gonna drop this right here, you know.
Yep, just
Yep.
So that's about all I've got.
Hey, dropping the love wherever you can, man. That's good. That's good.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, I booked a trip to Detroit's family vacation because
What?
at the Detroit Institute of Arts is the Power of Costume from Star Wars.
Nice.
So they have over like 60 costumes and stuff like that. So in August, we will be invading Detroit. So I'm super excited about that.
Well, cool.
So if
Is
you
that like a
find-
temporary exhibit that they have?
Yeah, it's like from May to September, I think. So I'm jumping on it.
Wow.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kessel Run Weekly. They're watching
Danny!
the show right now. So
What's up?
what's up? Good to have you here. Why don't
Yeah, and then
oh, go ahead.
our AC broke. Okay.
What?
Yeah, it's sad.
That's unacceptable.
It is unacceptable. So
It's got to be like Tatooine in there.
yeah, exactly. So Trent and I started watching. There's Trent right there. Hey, Trent.
Hi, Trent.
So we started watching Rebels and started finishing up season 3, and I finally got to see Twin Sons, which is the episode where Obi-Wan and Darth Maul fight, and so it's pretty amazing. So yeah, I never seen it before, and I finally saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best episodes ever. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then, of course, I had to do some homework since we're talking about Empire. I had to rewatch it. So, yeah. So,
Word.
yeah.
Well,
It was awesome.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So we move on to our main topic.
Let's do it.
And now for our feature presentation.
Okay. Well, it's our 80th episode. So I figured we should talk about a certain movie that came out on May 21st, 1980, and that was Empire Strikes Back. It grossed 290 mil, and so there's it grossed 290 million, a production budget of 18 million. So there you go. Kind of made its investment back.
Right.
Unlike Star Wars: A New Hope, it was only nominated for 3 Oscars.
Only 3.
Yeah.
Step up your game, Empire.
I know.
Man.
So it was nominated for art direction, sound, and original score, and it won for sound. So there you go, Ben Burt coming through. So yeah, so there's that. But yeah, not the 10 nominations like A New Hope had. So.
Well, if you want to be the most beloved Star Wars film of all time, you better step up your game, Empire.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Just to kind of, set the mood a little bit. So top songs in 1980. Yeah. Pink Floyd was in there for another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Blondie, Call Me. I don't know. Call Me. Yeah.
There you go.
Dun, dun,
Magic
dun.
by Olivia Newton-John. Rock With You with Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And Do That to Me One More Time. Captain and Tennille, I guess. 1980, man. There you go.
Tennille,
The prophets of our time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So there you go. To go see Empire Strikes Back, it would only cost you a mere $2.75. $2.
Crazy.
$3, basically, yeah. A gallon of gas cost you $1.20. Dude, that's tight.
It's more than double that now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Oh, here's a fun one. Aaron, you would like this. A Commodore VIC-20 computer cost you $299.95. It boasted a maximum of 5 KBs of memory, but it did include a monitor. So,
Whew.
Yeah.
Now compare that to Nintendo Switch today,
yeah.
which can do many, 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 many more times the processing power of a Commodore VIC-20.
Yeah.
Costs $250.
Yeah.
And has like expandable memory. You could put like 32 gigabits of SD card storage in it, which is just blows 5 kilobits out of the water. So
it does.
And it's got its own built-in monitor. You can game on the go.
What? No.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
For cheaper than a Commodore. So
there you go. All right. So I know we ranked Empire pretty high up there when we did our ranking. So I'm going to start with you, Heather, since you took copious notes. What are some of the things that makes Empire special? Yeah. See, thank you. What makes Empire special to you?
Gosh, I am such a broken record, you guys.
That's okay.
Yoda.
Yeah. Yoda.
He's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
I love our introduction to him. That he's this like weird little green guy, but Luke's like, I'm on a mission. I gotta find this Jedi Master, and he's all like, ah.
Yeah.
That's my Yoda impression.
That's a great Yoda impression.
And yeah, just sort of, seeing the bad guys sort of win a little bit is always exciting. It definitely seemed a little meatier than the first one.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit more grown up.
A little bit. Kissing.
The love, that kind of thing. So,
romance. The thing that Disney movies don't have.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Just saying.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of really good character development from the first one. I love that I didn't have to wait for the third movie to actually see some development happen with some characters.
Yeah.
So I think it just provided a lot, which I appreciated. And of course, it's got a lot of bomb drops in it, I feel like, and a lot of good quotable lines. It's just overall just a good flick.
Yeah.
If people still say flick.
I think so. I think it's yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Aaron, what do you think about Empire? What makes it special for you?
Episode 4 feels a bit, in comparison, it feels a bit like Child's Play, where it's like, okay, Luke, you've got your first real fight under your belt. You kind of proven yourself, but Episode 5 is kind of where he fails and where he really has to grow up. And I mean, immediately in the beginning, he's just cold clocked by this Wampa and, hung up by his bootstraps, and you know, he's got Ben's not there to rescue him, so he's got to improvise his way out of there, which he does, and it's awesome. But it's also, I think that's the first time we see the Force being used to manipulate an object.
Correct.
So we start to see like, oh, he's grown since the last time we met him, and he's getting stronger, but he still needs to prove himself. And to take that full into fruition when he first has to combat Vader in the Dagobah cave. Yeah. And it turns out, you know, he's fighting himself, and it's himself that he has to overcome.
Right. It's deep, dude. That's deep. It's a deep cut.
That's probably that might be my favorite Star Wars scene of all time. I don't know if we've talked about that on the podcast before, but
it's happening right now. It's your favorite scene?
Yeah. Okay. So put that on the record books.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can humiliate myself later when I change.
I will put that in the book.
Yeah.
You know.
So we have that, and then, you know, he does end up fighting Vader himself, which, you know, that's the showdown we've been waiting years for. I mean, if we were back in 1977, and through to 1980. Yeah. And so it finally happens, and he loses then too. And so it demonstrates that he still has much to learn, and he still has to conquer certain parts of himself if he's going to become strong enough to face Vader once and for all. And so very powerful story arc for Luke. The other supporting characters are, well, there to support, but also like they've got their own changes too. Like Han and Leia's, they got a thing going, and that develops. And
no, they don't.
Yeah. And you know, even Chewbacca kind of comes into his own. You know, C-3PO's there to cause trouble and commentate and things. It just all weaves together really well. Plus we get Boba Fett, which, you know, if that's your thing, then you know, that's where the magic all starts. Yeah. You get all the bounty hunters, and it just feels like the world to which we were introduced in A New Hope, it grows up, it becomes more complex and more filled out, in a way that doesn't seem weighed down or padded out. Yeah. Or just buckling under its own weight, whereas with, say, I think you could make the argument in Force Awakens or The Last Jedi that there's so many new things that don't tie into the central story, but are there just for the sake of being new, that it just gets burdensome to track down. Like, can you remember all the planets that were introduced in the last few films? Because I can't.
Is that a rhetorical question? Or?
Well, it's like, you could keep track of it when you were watching the original trilogy, right? It's like, oh, Tatooine, that's the desert planet. Endor, that's the forest planet. Yeah. But now we have the mud planet, and the oil, the spice mines of Kessel. Yeah. We have that. And it's like, oh, we have that planet that, you know, Ursa was living on, with the black sand that we never hear of again. It's like,
yeah.
You know, so
the rings of Kafrene, which is like that outpost that's an asteroid, and
yeah, exactly. So it's like we have what made A New Hope really memorable, and it's kind of anchored in that mythology and storytelling, but it's expanded and developed into something new and more complex. But it doesn't stray too far from it that it's like, okay, where are you going?
Yeah.
So that's quite the achievement to pull off, and I'm really glad that The Empire Strikes Back did that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to even be shy about this. It's the best movie ever.
Best movie ever.
Yeah. No, by far. I mean, I'm just, again, I saw it when I was 5. I was super impressionable, and as much as you like the Dagobah cave, I like the Wampa cave. That's probably my favorite part of because because it's an implied thing. You know, he's in a pickle, and he's doing his hero's journey, you know, and he's got to fight that monster all by himself. That's how, you know, and he's locked in, and the only way he could do that is with his lightsaber, and it's not there, you know. And as soon as you see that shot where he's kind of hanging and the lightsaber's out of reach, you're just like, use the Force. It's implied, even though you never seen that happen before. And that to me is like movie magic. And
how do they do that? I mean, I guess they kind of set it up that, you know, the Force is like this ethereal, mysterious thing. Right. And so you kind of believe like, oh, maybe it can do anything. It's like that possibility, like,
you could do anything. You could fly through space. Who knew?
Yeah.
But but
that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
He went there, people. He went there.
We did. Yeah. To me, that's where it's all magical, because like as a kid, you're yelling at the screen, use the Force, and you don't see that in New Hope. You just know that you can use the Force in mysterious ways, and I can go on. It's just the Wampa scene is probably my favorite thing, and just gets out of there, bada bing, bada boom. You know, there's just everything you said. I'm just gonna ditto, Aaron, because I think it's super tight story. There is still a lot going on, but it's definitely more character development and not all about big battles. Even though there's a ton of battles in there, you know. The other thing, which is similar to what we see in The Last Jedi, is that they blew up the Death Star, and yet here comes Darth Vader and his executor that's like a 6-mile long Star Destroyer, and just like, they're not hurting for cash, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing happens in The Last Jedi, where you see Snoke ship, you're like, dude, that thing is a boss, you know? Like, it's like a flying fortress, and they just blew up a whole planet, you know what I'm saying? So, very similar tracks there, which I obviously I enjoy. But for Empire, there's a couple things that I noticed in this rewatch that you mentioned the Dagobah cave. Okay, in the Dagobah cave, you know, in Dagobah, there's a lot of different. They have a lot of different animals. You know, there is a snake that has ringside seats to this thing going down. Man, there's a snake. He's right on the branch, and he's looking at Darth Vader and Luke do his thing, and I'm just like, dude, that snake's got the best seat in the house, you know?
Yeah.
I never noticed that snake before, and I laughed. I was like,
it's got its own like close up.
Yeah, it's like, well, no, but not in the actual scene. There's a couple snakes they show, but you know, I don't know.
Maybe I'm misremembering it, but
yeah, there's a couple snakes. Yeah, but
it's there.
It's there. I just love that scene. I absolutely love when Yoda goes completely like dark side for a second in the cave and his little hut. That's probably one of my other favorite scenes. And probably one of the most, like, you know, Luke goes, "I'm not afraid." And then Yoda like cuts the goofy hermit thing for a second and just gets real with him and looks Luke right in the eyes like, you will be. I'm like, dude, this is real.
Don't do me like this, Yoda.
Yoda, like at that point, Yoda goes, he gets serious, and it's very interesting seeing that. Like, he's just, like Heather mentioned, he's just this goofy thing. I mean, that's one of my other favorite parts is like when he grabs her a flashlight, you know, and, you know, R2 and him have the little battle, and Yoda can't grab his cane, and it's it's perfect. And the R2's like, dude, we know each other. Why are you doing this? You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, they're not strangers in this scene. I mean, is R2 just playing dumb, or
no? Yoda's like, you're messing up my camp, man. You know. But yeah, I just
stupid droid.
Yeah, I just love that little part, and when he shuts the hatch with his cane, I don't know. It's just those kind of scenes are really great. But there's two other things that I noticed in the rewatch that I haven't seen before, and one is like in the carbonite freezing chamber when Han and Leia are, just about to, they know it's going down. Han gives like the slightest smile to Leia, and I'm just like, I never noticed it before. Like almost like a reassurance, like something, it's going to be okay. Like we're going to figure this out, and that's before they do the "I love you, I know," dialogue. But it's like right when they first enter, and the camera kind of pans behind them, and he just looks at her real quick, and it's just like this really slight smile, and I'm just like, it's so Solo. So Harrison Ford, and I'm just like, I've never seen that before, and I've seen Empire like a bazillion times probably. So yeah, I was just like, oh wow, that's great. And the other thing, and kind of going with the Solo connection is, hey Kat, the Solo connection is when Lando and Chewie are about to take off. Obviously, there's the thing where like Lando's wearing Han Solo's duds. That's a given. But he's smiling a lot, and I was just like, why is he smiling a lot? And with the seeing Solo, it kind of makes sense. Like this is the first time he's been behind the Falcon in a very long time.
Yes.
And I thought that was very interesting, just kind of seeing that. Even though obviously Empire became before Solo, just that, and possibly the fact that he's not stuck in Cloud City and being like a boss. He's like, I get to be a pirate again. I think those are like kind of two key things that, I just didn't understand. Cause like Luke and Leia are not smiling at the end. They're just like, we got our butt whooped, but they're still, we know that Lando and Chewie are going to save Han. But, Lando's like totally beaming. He's like, I can't wait to get out of here. So those are a couple of things I noticed. But yeah, Aaron, I would ditto everything that you said about Empire. It's super tight. It's well shot. I mean, all the shots are. I just love the cinematography and everything. Yeah, like the carbon freezing chamber for me is probably one of the coolest lit, and just like how it's laid out. I just love that look. There's a lot of,
it's totally impractical. Like if that was your workspace, like you would call OSHA in a heartbeat.
Right.
Like I can't work in here. I dropped something. I can't find it.
And I don't care what you say, any masked person and like fog machine, it's balling, dude. I mean, like, there's a couple shots with Boba and Vader just like in the they look at each other, and then you see the fog, and I'm just like, dude, this is like I'm crying, man. It's like it's so good, so good. So, yeah, but those are.
I was definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, from the cinematography stuff, I remember watching it again because I also rewatched it for preparation and stuff, and I just loved. You've got the whole opening scene on Hoth, and everyone is in white, and all the animals are white. Yeah. And then when they go back out looking for Luke, and you've got Chewie, he like pops his head up from the snow, and he's all like windblown. And
I call that Frosted Flakes Chewie, because he's got the frosting on him.
He's got all the powdered sugar.
Yeah, he's got the powdered sugar. I call him Frosted Flakes Chewie. Yeah.
I loved that scene. I just thought it just color wise. It was great, because then as the movie went on, when we got to Lando, this whole world is like white again around him, and then you've got him in this dramatic blue, and then you've got Fett dramatically black, and they just intentionally are making their characters pop, and I'm like, well, it's me going really excited for the people listening. Yeah,
right. No, and Bespin has that Art Deco thing down to it's just so good looking. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. So, but you have the contrast, because you have the city in the clouds, but that's where a lot of bad things happen. You got the, ice cream factory thing in the bottom, and, because
then you like go to the swamp, and it's just darks and browns, and maybe a green thrown in there. And even with the ship and R2, I mean, they muddied him because, he went, under. And so he's not as bright white as he normally is. And so they created this imagery.
Really that's also another favorite scene of mine is Dagobah, when, R2 gets on his tiptoes to look in the window. I don't know. Those are the things that just make
Forgot
me.
how cute that was.
It just makes me smile,
Oh,
man. You know.
Yeah.
what's going on, guys?
You're gonna let me in, or you're gonna let me get rained on and rusted out?
Okay, so here's the question. So both R2 and the ship go under the swampy water thing.
Yeah.
I'm out in a heavy downpour. I'm like, my phone, I got to protect my phone. Like, how are these things surviving this water? And
Well, yeah,
our
and
droids.
and R2 like pukes up mud water too. He's like,
I just don't get it. Anyway, sorry.
I don't know. Maybe
digress.
their waterproofing technology is better than ours.
yeah.
Wisdom, Aaron with the wisdom.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the Star Wars fan, favorite pastime is just plugging up plot holes.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, anything that R2 does in this movie, I just love because, like, after they get the ship off, and he has this talk with Yoda and Obi-Wan, there's R2 just like, welding things on the X-Wings. Like, don't worry, boss, I got this. We got this all fixed up. He's patching up the X-Wing, and then he does a little fog thing at the end when they're trying. Yeah. I'm just like
the troopers. Yeah.
Like R2, you're a boss, man. You're just a boss. So yeah, there's just so much I could go on and on about Empire. But hey, you want to go through some fun facts?
Let's have
As
at
long
it.
as they're fun.
Okay, so we kind of talked about this before too. Like, Lucas needed Fox to, distribute the movie for A New Hope, but he basically bankrolled the 330 million production himself, using a combination of his profits from A New Hope, a bank loan, and he was freaking out about it because it's risky because he put it all in for Empire, and it paid off because he recovered his investment within 3 months of the film's release, and then he shared some of the profits to his employees and basically gave nearly $5 million in bonuses.
That's really cool.
So
very rare for Hollywood. By the way.
and it goes back to the whole thing that Lucas wanted to do his own thing, and he put it all on the line for this movie. And then, of course, he did all the merchandising, and that
merchandising
that paid off in dividends. The other thing, which is so common today, but when watching movies like on Netflix or seeing old movies, like you notice like there's a ton of credits in the beginning of the movie, and you don't really like a whole intro is like a bunch of credits. And Lucas is one of the first ones to kind of pioneer that. So to preserve the dramatic opening of the Star Wars movie, George Lucas insisted on moving all the credits to the end of the film. But then the Writers Guild and Director Guild did not like that. But he tried again. And so he basically did it anyways, and he got fined heavily by the guilds, but he didn't care because he's like, I'm going to do it,
I have money now.
He paid $250,000 for that.
Wow.
In $1977.
$80. $1980. We're in $1980. Yes.
Still, that's a lot of gallons of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
He's like, forget you guys. I'm just going to go and do this myself, it's interesting because again, now, you might see some main names, even the title, or even before, like you don't see any kind of credits at the beginning of the film. So it's kind of interesting.
Do you think, how some people pay their fines in like rolls and rolls and rolls of pennies? Do you think George Lucas like paid the fines with like 10,000 Commodore computers? Here's your 250,000.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck, Writers Guild.
Just back up the truck.
Okay, so here's fun fact. R2-D2 Submerged, we just talked about that. That was shot in George Lucas's unfinished swimming pool.
Really?
Yes.
Fascinating.
Yeah, there you go.
How'd they make it look like a filthy swamp?
Well, no, the big shots were at the studio, man. The submerged shot. Yeah. Come on, it's movie editing and stuff. Come on, man.
Movie magic.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here, speaking about movie magic, how they got the lightsaber into Luke's hand in the Wappa Cave?
The Force?
No, they shot it in reverse.
Oh, okay.
So he threw it into the snow, and they reversed it.
Had me fooled.
Me too, because I was like, whoa, no wires. We knew about in Norway when they shot Hoth, there was a blizzard, and basically they had a shot right outside the hotel. Did you guys know that?
Oh yeah, because they didn't want to leave.
It was so cold.
Like,
it was so
snowy
cold.
enough out there.
Yeah.
Just throw Mark Hamill over there and look at the shot.
Exactly. Okay, so Han Solo, we know, is like one of the non-Jedi to activate a lightsaber. And our boy Finn does that in The Force Awakens, but he was the first in the original trilogy. And then obviously he opens up the Tauntaun's belly. And that is supposedly an American Indian trick that they used to do, that Indian hunters would kill a bear and then become trapped by a sudden blizzard. They would cut open the bear's stomach and climb inside and stay warm and safe until the storm had subsided. So there you go.
Hard pass.
Yeah. Well, you're in a blizzard.
Between that and dying?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. This is a funny one. Mark Hamill had to bang his head 16 times on the ceiling of Yoda's hut before Irvin Kushner said he was satisfied.
Oh man.
Now that's acting, you know.
Well, at least it's not a Kubrick film.
Yeah. Right.
You ever hear about that? He would
No.
take like 100. Yeah, he would take dozens and dozens of takes of every scene because he was a perfectionist.
Oh, wow.
Like one scene in The Shining, they got like 114 takes of. And yeah, that's how much of a perfectionist he was.
That's crazy.
So
That's
at least
crazy.
Luke didn't have to do that. Yeah, there. And I think in A Clockwork Orange,
Yeah.
there's a scene where a dude had to carry a guy up a set of stairs in a wheelchair.
Okay.
So super heavy. And he managed to convince Kubrick to just do it in like 3 takes.
What?
Yeah. So somehow.
Like, this dude is heavy, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, Todd, I totally have to steal one of your fun facts.
Sure.
Can I do
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah, you can.
Because I saw this one that you had gathered for today, and I was like, what? I had no idea.
What?
So, I know. So apparently, George Lucas was so impressed with Frank Oz's performance as Yoda that he spent thousands of dollars on an advertising campaign to try to get him an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Apparently, the campaign failed because it was felt that a puppeteer wasn't an actor.
Those artsy people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Lucas felt
there's
it
been
wasn't-
arguments to get an Oscar category for stunts.
Oh, no way.
Because stuntmen and women currently do not have any way to get a Oscar nomination. So there's been a campaign for a long time to get that as a recognition, but
What? Yeah.
nothing's happening.
Yeah. I mean, it also kind of ruins the magic because it's like, oh, wait. Like The Rock didn't jump through the skyscraper. No, that was somebody else,
That might be it, just preserving the star's ego.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, you got stuff like I think one of the Friday the 13th movies, there's a dude who was lit on fire, and then he had to like tumble down a set of stairs, then go back up, and then tumble down and go back up again, all on fire. And it's like, that dude, like, you can't pay him enough money.
Right?
You know?
Yeah. Speaking about stunts, another fun fact: the only stunt that Mark Hamill did not do himself was when he exited the glass in Cloud City. Everything else he did.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
he did all his own stunts.
Oh,
But that one,
Well, good
they
for
had
him.
To be, they had to be on a wire harness, and George and Irvin were like, no, you're not doing that one. So, couple Easter eggs real quick. Of course, there's a potato tennis shoe, even some popcorn in the asteroid field. Just thrown out there.
I did hear about that because they just have to like stuff it with a bunch of asteroidy looking things, right? To get get the density of it right.
Yes, yeah. So they threw some stuff in the background, little potato, tennis shoe, no big deal. This one's pretty common. This is a pretty known one, but Boba Fett and Jeremy Bullock, who played Boba Fett, are in the same scene at the same time.
What?
Yes.
Say it ain't so.
When Luke says, or when Leia says, "It's a trap," Luke, it's a trap. She said it before Akbar, but Akbar made it famous. But right. Jeremy Bullock is the Imperial officer holding Princess Leia as she's saying that.
Oh, so we get a little face reveal then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's we know this one. I mean, this one, you've heard of William Hood? William Hood? Is that
should I have?
You should. If you're going to be on this podcast, you need to know who William Hood is.
Is he the guy who's going through Cloud City with the ice cream maker?
Yes, George Lucas's ice cream maker. I got this.
Oh, was it his personal one?
His personal one.
Do you have it like in the trunk in the parking lot?
So I was making ice cream. Yeah,
I guess this will do.
Yeah, he was just making ice cream, between takes.
That's funny.
So William Hood is Princess Leia and Lando are running by. William Hood is a gentleman holding an ice cream maker. It's his only possession. Of course, like Decipher said, it was like some secret, information for the rebellion or something like that. But it's an ice cream maker.
He's got his own Wikipedia page.
So
stop it, really?
He does.
Guys, at Celebration, there will be running of the hoods. It's a huge thing. And so,
are you serious?
Yes. Where have you been? Okay, so
not in the cool parts of town. I'll tell you that much.
So this has become a thing. It's kind of like its own thing where these people dress up and some are accurate, some are not so accurate, but as long as you have an orange jumpsuit and like ice cream, some kind of ice cream maker, and some crazy facial hair, you're in the William Hood Club, and they'll run around Celebration. So be prepared.
Running of the hoods.
Wow.
So there you go. There's just now. I don't know if this is true, but we might have to. You're the sound guy, Aaron. So when C3PO,
are you giving me homework?
Yeah, I'm giving you homework actually. C3PO, when Chewie's putting back C3PO, after he got smashed up, the first thing he belts out is "Got a cigarette." I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't remember that.
That's what the internet said. So I need you to work on that.
Everything on the internet is true.
Right. Exactly. So, so that's your homework there, Aaron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a cursory YouTube search, and first result is C3PO R2D2 anti-smoking PSA commercial.
And maybe that's where they got it from. Yeah.
All right.
Like, don't smoke, but then C-3PO's like, you got a cigarette?
Got a cigarette?
Yep. Playing both sides of the fence there.
Yeah. So any closing thoughts, Heather, on Empire that we haven't covered so far?
Yeah, so one of the things I noticed, again, as you rewatch things, you notice things for the first time.
Absolutely.
And I just love the moments with Darth Vader, like, choking people out. And the people just in the background who are just, like, doing, like, importing in Excel or whatever.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Just don't pay attention. Just keep your head down, do your thing. And, like, and then, or, like, he walks past and they're all just, like, they get really stiff, and then they sort of like watch him leave.
Yeah,
and it's just
it's like
business as usual.
Yeah. No, there's two great parts with that. Like, the one is with Admiral Piet or Captain Piet whatever. And he's choking, like, he's not even in the same room, and he's choking out Ozzel because he came into, and he's kind of looking, but he's like, oh, okay, Lord Vader, gotcha. And you're like, and then he just gets promoted. It's like, Admiral Piet. You're like, oh, okay, all right. And then he kind of like tells him to take the Ozzel away, throw him in an incinerator or something,
Battlefield promotions. That's how it works.
Exactly. The other, I laugh every time I forget who he's talking to. I think he's talking to Ozzel or something about, what the plan is. And he makes it like a 180 and he's like, General Veers, prepare your troops. And like, they're like an inch apart.
He's about to run into him. Like, oh, that makes me laugh every time.
Every time I watch he's like, General Veers. And it's like, dude, General Veers is like in your space, in the personal bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
the Vader stuff in here is good. Yeah. It's good.
And then the only other note that I wrote down that I just feel like I want you to hear the words that I wrote down was Chewie's attitude equals gold.
Oh.
He's got more sass this time around.
He does. Again, that character development we kind of opened up with at the beginning.
Yeah.
he just made me smile.
Yeah.
But then, like, even within the attitude, he's picking up C-3PO, and he's about ready to rip arms off when they, take Han, and so he's still got that heart of gold.
Right.
But
yeah. Also, almost chokes out Lando.
Well,
let's not forget about that.
They may have some bad blood. It's fine.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So those are my two other points to make.
Aaron, what about you?
Something I noticed with the story structure, which is pretty cool, is basically all the heroes are together on Hoth, and then they separate, go their own ways, and then kind of like a DNA helix, they like come back together again. So, yeah. So when they go through the same ordeal on Hoth, but then when they separate, when Luke is in the cave and, going through his underworld experience, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
At the same time, Han and Leia and Chewie and company are in the Falcon, going through the asteroid field, being chased through there, and then they end up in a cave too. But in both cases, it turns out to be something different than what they thought it would be. And, in the case of the asteroid field, it turns out, no, they're inside a giant worm. And the worm is so giant, it has its own ecosystem that can support flying pests. Yeah. So, they have to, I suppose, confront their fears there at the same time that Luke has to confront his own fears in the Dagobah cave.
Yeah.
And both caves are swamp-like, as it turns out. It's kind of odd, but then it all ties back together when they meet together on Cloud City and have to deal with the threat of Vader. I should put, because it's that, and it's the stormtroopers, and it's Boba Fett. Yeah. So it's like they're separated, but they kind of go through the same thing. It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's deeper connections to be made there, but that's what I noticed on our last rewatch.
Nice. I got one more thing, and that's when Han Solo is looking for Luke, and they have to close the doors. I just really like the two shots that there's Chewie like yelling, and it bangs his head kind of on the strut of the X-wing, and Kirshner does this really cool like tight shot of Leia as the doors closing, like it gets a real close up of her, and it's like that, and it's like closing on her as well. And I thought that was really interesting. It's just a really cool like 1-2 shot, like and of course C-3PO in the middle of that is like saying, R2 could be wrong from time to time, it's like oof. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna survive, Princess Leia. I'm sorry, they're dead. 2 of the heroes are gone.
He's doing the best he can to cheer them up.
Yeah, exactly.
And not doing a very good job of it. So perfectly like C-3PO.
Yeah, exactly. Just stick to the protocol, and you can't even do that job right. So there you go. All right. Should I wrap us up here, guys?
I suppose.
Okay. Thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. You can check us out on the emails. You can email us at wstrmedia.com. You can leave us a voicemail, 630-557, 630-557-9787. That's 630-557-9787. You can check all our back catalog of episodes. They're at www.wstrmedia.com. And yeah, this is brought to you by Audible. You can get your free trial at audible.com/WSTR. They have like 180,000 titles. I don't know. It's probably growing to this minute. This is probably like an old stat. It's probably like 190,000,
Yeah, who has 200,000 of anything? Like Todd, you got 200,000 Star Wars figurines back there?
I do not.
No.
No.
Audible does.
Yeah, they got
200,000 books.
Yeah, and we looked up, Aaron. They do have cooking books, so you get cooking books if you like. Yeah,
cookbooks.
Cookbooks. But yeah, you could you could get all that information at audibletrial.com/WSCR. You get a free Audible book. You can help us out. It's a win-win chicken dinner, and in fact, somebody did email us. So
What?
It actually works, people. Here we go.
I know. Just imagine me like sitting outside, like next to the mailbox, just waiting.
Yep.
Waiting for the mailman to come by and or mail person, I should say, to come by and give us a little something. And
right.
It finally happened.
You just looked on your phone.
I just had to be patient.
Right. You just looked on your phone and like, ding. Like, all right. So this is coming from TJ Loomis. He is one of my coworkers at my work. And so we've been chatting it up. And here is his question. So my question is, do you think Rey is a Mary Sue or a personification of one of JJ's mystery boxes? And do you have any theories about this character? Here are my thoughts. I hear Rey called a Mary Sue, and I feel the term is incorrect for this character. So far, Mary Sues are like Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan or most of Robert Hennion's characters. They tend to always be right, perfect, and serve as a mouthpiece for the author. That doesn't seem like Rey. My initial impression was that Rey was a Force-sensitive, scrappy Pippi Longstocking alone on an alien scrap planet. I think JJ backloaded the character with the mysterious parentage aspect, which fans picked up on, that Ryan sets up for the answer in the final movie. When Kylo and Rey meet again, Rey's vision, not shown, tells her Kylo will turn, false and implanted by Snoke, and Kylo's vision that her parents are in a pauper's grave. He is either being spiteful or stating a false Snoke vision, or is true. My worst case scenario is that her dark side vision means that she is like Anakin, an immaculate midichlorian birth character, but she doesn't have true parents and she's a product of the Force. Thanks, TJ. Wow. Okay, there's a lot there. So, okay, here we go. Do you think she's a Mary Sue? We kind of talked about this, and this is pretty popular on the old social media.
Well, if we could back up a bit, the term Mary Sue, for those who don't know, it actually originated from the fan fiction community.
Okay.
Comes from the 1974 Star Trek fanfic, A Trekkie's Tale.
What?
Which was originally written as a parody of fan fiction at the time.
Okay.
And so it had a character named Mary Sue that was
amazing.
Basically just amazing in every way with no flaws. And it's kind of lampooning a lot of lesser fan fiction at the time. So I think it's a bit humorous that it's being applied to, I guess, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi as if they were fan fiction instead of actual fiction, whatever that means.
Right. But we have Star Trek to thank for Mary Sue.
We do.
Oh, man. It's great.
I know. We got to give them an olive branch. As much as it pains us. But yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument to be made that perhaps Rey has unearned abilities or unearned virtue in the fact that, I mean, if we want to go back to Empire, I mean, we see Luke fail quite a lot. particularly in that film, but even in A New Hope.
Yeah.
He's kind of like this scrappy, untested guy who needs to prove himself, and in so doing, he betrays a lot of character flaws as far as his impulsivity and
His
recklessness, whininess. He's got a lot of growing up to do, where Rey almost feels like she's the complete package right out of the box. And
super mature, got her together, even though she's a hermit,
holds her ground against Kylo Ren with no training whatsoever. And I think those aspects, it does apply as a Mary Sue. However, I think what TJ is saying here is that a lot of Mary Sues tend to be like mouthpieces for the author, and I think in that sense she's not a Mary Sue. Yeah, because to do that you'd have to have a particular viewpoint on something that the author is putting forth through this character, and I don't think that's really happening. Maybe because Rey doesn't have very much to say. Went there. But yeah, I mean, and I think TJ's right in pointing out that there's more possibilities for Rey to be something other than just a Mary Sue. Yeah. But I think it just really depends on, how episode 9 turns out and where JJ's going to take his character from there. And I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But, TJ, you got some good points that maybe it's not quite right to just write her off as a Mary Sue right away.
Yeah. Heather, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, so I will admit this is the first time actually learning about the whole Mary Sue concept. Just, to throw that out there. Right. But from what I understand, from what I've learned based on the question and then Aaron's beautiful explanation, is I totally don't see her as a Mary Sue. I think, yes, an argument can be made that a lot of what she encountered with the Force, with the lightsaber, came really easy to her. But that's not an immediate, that means everything is amazing in her life. No, I mean, she's been abandoned by a family. She's living on her own. She's had to learn how to be scrappy.
She's a Disney princess.
She's had to learn how to fight. She's had to learn how to take care of herself. I don't think that's, having everything put together. I mean, I love the scrappy Pippi Longstocking thing. To me, I see it, like she's a Harry Potter. She's, she's this young person. She's figured it out. She's, Harry picks up magic. He finds out that he's a really good flyer. That just comes naturally to him. But there's still a lot that she doesn't know. And so I think Mary Sue's too harsh. But I don't think, I'm still banking that it's not an Anakin thing, that there is a lineage that we don't know about yet.
Please.
And I'm really, I'm still going with the Obi-Wan Kenobi, lineage. But I think there's something there. I'm curious to see who they're going to dig up for her family.
Yeah.
Literally or figuratively.
No disrespect.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think is Rey's biggest flaw that she has to overcome?
Wow.
There it is.
I'm not trying to make a point here. I'm genuinely curious.
I think she's just really naive. I think when you find yourself in a place where, bear with me, stay with me.
We're staying the track here.
We're tracking. Okay.
Not a lot of bad things have necessarily happened to her outside of potentially being abandoned by her parents and having to live on her own.
Right.
I mean, hey, that's not nothing.
That's not nothing.
Right.
That is definitely something. But sometimes in life, you become naive because you only know the world you've created for yourself.
Right.
You know, yes, she's heard stories of Luke Skywalker. We've all heard the historical stories of people and things, but it's only what we are taught and absorb. And so I think for her, it's all, well, kind of cheesy in the movie, the sticking her hand out and, you know, touching it with a leaf or whatever.
Right, yeah.
You know, but I think that's where she's like, I'm just so excited. This is it. I found my purpose and the whole thing, you know, and it's like, you know.
So you think maybe she
down.
had a bit of hero worship for Luke?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just,
I think that's what Ryan's ultimate vision is, trying to, strip that down. Like, she's not the teacher, you know, that she thought Luke was going to be. And, you know, Luke obviously followed in his mentor's steps and feared what Ben was going to become. And so he doesn't want to even touch Rey, you know, at all. And there's some similars there, but I think that's really the only, for me, I think that's the only thing she has to overcome is like the teacher that she thought she was going to get. That was not what she got, you know, in The Last Jedi. But I don't know. I don't think she's a Mary Sue either, but I think it just seems like she just picked it up and was like, like a sports analogy. It's like almost like she just picked up the basketball and now she's like draining threes and, you know, dropping 40 a night and like no big deal. And it's like, so some of the best Jedi trained for like, for lots and lots. It kind of goes, you know, like again, any discipline or any sports or anything like in martial arts, it's like you gotta practice. And she's just like, yeah, I got this, you know, and but I don't know.
Thank you, TJ, for the treasured piece of mail.
Last Jedi keeps on popping up. It just keeps on popping up.
Maybe you've started a trend and we can have a regular mail time segment.
Mail time. It's mail.
Yeah. But I mean, you've changed my mind. I'm not going to call her a Mary Sue anymore. So
okay. There you go. There's that. All right.
Still severely flawed, but not quite the Mary Sue.
Aaron, you can't let it go. You're just like, oh,
I won't.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
Can't let it go.
The closing comment. I think we have to wait until episode 9, and then we can see.
Yeah,
that's it. It's Hey man, it's going to be shooting pretty soon. Like I think next week they're going to start filming. So
in like 5 days or something. like that.
Yeah, exactly. So So again, if you want to be like TJ, we want to have mail corner or mail time or I don't know what we want to call this, but you could comment on the socials or you can email us again at mailbox@wstrmedia.com.
We should call it Imperial Transmissions.
There you go. Exactly.
Like
we stripped it off the HoloNet. So there you go.
But it depends on you. Send in your mail.
It does. Yeah.
Even if it's just a few comments, like we love that, you know?
Yeah.
It gives meaning to our show.
Shoot, we'll make a whole episode out of like one comment, you know.
Yep.
Okay. So next week we are back. We took a little break because I saw episode 80. I'm like, no, we got to talk about Empire. So 81.
Maybe we should stop announcing what we're going to do next week because we always seem to get ourselves in the hot water.
We do
that.
Like, you know what? We had great plans, but we're going to put that on hold and it's going to be something totally different. But it just shows that we are thinking of things that are coming, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Next week, Anakin Skywalker prequels. So be prepared. Yeah. So that I don't know. Maybe that will change. I don't know. I'm not sure. But that's
maybe some, bombshell of a news item will drop. We'll be like, hold the phone. Anakin, we love you, but you're going to have to wait.
Yeah, exactly. 3 years later, we're still trying to get to Anakin. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Sorry, man. All right. There's only one way to end this. And
this is podcasting.
Love
We did it. I think.
Did it.
We hope.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, everyone.